Good afternoon. We'll be talking about pharmacokinetics 2, the rest of the pharmacological problems. So, in clinical pharmacokinetics, where does it come? Where does the basis of this subject from? It's basically from the relationship between the pharmacological effect of a drug and its concentration in the plasma. It provides both a quantitative relationship between dose and effect and the framework with which to interpret measurements of concentrations of drugs in biological fluids. So, why is it helpful to us? It is helpful to us to determine the onset, the duration of action, the frequency of dose administration, and adjustment of dose as per individual patients. That means it will help us with the loading dose, what is the plasma half-life, what is the clearance. All these are important topics we'll be covering. What are the important pharmacokinetic parameters? So there is kinetics of elimination, which is the clearance, plasma half-life or T-half, the plateau principle, and the target level strategy. These are some of the principles I will be covering today. So kinetics of elimination. Why is it helpful for us? It helps to design and optimize rational dosage regimens. So there are three fundamental pharmacokinetic parameters that you guys should know about. One is bioavailability, which is also represented by F, volume of distribution, VD, and clearance. You've already learned about bioavailability and volume of distribution in your last class. I'll be dealing with clearance. Clearance is the measure of the body's ability to clear the drug. So, it indicates the volume of biological fluid such as blood or plasma that would have to be completely freed of drug in unit time. Elimination of the drug may occur as a result of processes that occur in the kidney, the liver, and the other organs, but mainly the kidney and the liver. Okay. So, how do you get to clearance? Clearance is the rate of elimination by the plasma concentration of that drug. So, you add together different clearances by different organs. As I already said, hepatic and renal being the main, plus lungs and some other organs may be also involved. So, systemic clearance of total clearance is equal to clearance by the renal, clearance by the hepatic, and clearance by others like lungs. Okay. Kinetics of elimination. Coming to the kinetics of elimination, where clearance, where the rate of elimination and all is important. First order kinetics. Here, the rate of elimination is directly proportional to the drug concentration. I've already told you what clearance is. Yes. So, clearance is the rate of elimination by the concentration of the drug. So, constant fraction of the drug present in the body is eliminated in unit time. Clearance remains constant. Okay. Coming to the second type is zero order kinetics or capacity limited elimination or Michaelis-Menten elimination. These are some other names. So in your questions, if you see capacity limited elimination or Michaelis-Menten elimination, understand that they mean zero order kinetics. Okay. So rate of elimination remains a constant irrespective of the drug concentration. So constant amount of drug will be always eliminated in unit time. So what will happen? Clearance in concentration will be inversely proportional. So clearance will decrease with an increase in concentration. Example, ethyl alcohol. Okay. Some drugs, as it approaches saturation, as the elimination approaches saturation, over a therapeutic range, their kinetics will change from first order to zero order at higher doses. So, plasma concentration will increase disproportionately with increase in dose because of the change. You should know the examples of these. These are phenytoin, tolbutamide, theophylline, and warfarin. Okay. So, as they approach higher concentrations, they will change from they will change from first order to zero order at higher doses. Plasma half-life or T-half. It is the time taken for the plasma concentration of the drug or the amount of the drug in the body to be reduced by 50%. That is made out by the name itself, plasma half-life. So why is it useful for us? It allows us to know when to administer drug, in what frequency should we administer the drug. So it is a derived parameter that changes as a function of both clearance as well as your volume of distribution. So T half is equal to a constant 0.693 into volume of distribution divided by clearance. So nearly complete drug elimination usually occurs in 4 to 5 half-lives. Please note the formula. The formula is very important for you. T half is equal to 0.693 into volume of distribution divided by clearance. Okay, it is a derived parameter. It's both in a function of clearance as well as volume of distribution. Now, coming to a next important concept is steady state plasma concentration. When do you require a steady state plasma concentration and plateau principle? When you need to maintain or adjust the dosing requirements of a patient. Not every patient will need a certain dose. Certain patients will need a higher dose, certain patients will need a lower dose. So, when a drug is repeated at relatively short intervals, it will accumulate in the body until elimination balances input and a steady state is attained. Okay. So, at the steady state, what will happen? The dosing in and the dosing out is equal, which means the whatever drug is going in and whatever is being eliminated out will reach an equilibrium state. So, steady state plasma concentration is represented by CPSS. CPSS is equal to the dose rate divided by clearance. Again, it's an important formula. It's one of the formulas that help you to calculate your maintenance dose. Okay. What is a plateau principle? So, when a constant dose of a drug is repeated before the expiry of 4 T halves, I already told you by 4 to 5 T halves, it will normally be eliminated fully. Yes. So, when a constant dose of a drug is repeated before the expiry of 4 T halves, it would achieve a higher peak concentration because before you achieve 4 T halves, you are constantly giving a dose. So, some remnant of the previous dose will be present in the body and a steady state is reached by 4 to 5 half-lives. Okay. So, subsequently what happens is that the plasma concentration will plateau and it will fluctuate above an average steady state level, almost at a steady state level. How much you want the steady state plasma concentration to be, it will almost stay there because you have been repeating the doses of the drug. This is known as the plateau principle of drug accumulation. Target concentration strategy. Another thing we want is certain drugs we want to give it in a target concentration. We want a rapid action from the drug. So it is a process for optimizing the dose in an individual on the basis of a measured surrogate response such as drug concentration. So for drugs whose effects are not easily quantifiable and safety margin is not big, it is best to aim at achieving a certain plasma concentration which has been defined to be in the therapeutic range. Such drugs are often administered by initial dosing and subsequent maintenance doses. Such two-phase dosing provides rapid therapeutic effect with long-term safety. So this is why the initial loading dose and the subsequent maintenance dose is important. So especially drugs with narrow therapeutic index, not safety margin is not that big and they are not easily quantifiable. We'll prefer giving it in a loading dose and subsequent maintenance doses so that we can quantify the therapeutic effect and the rapid therapeutic effect, and it will be safe for the patient also. So coming to the last concept for today, loading dose and maintenance dose. Loading dose is either a single dose or a series of doses that is given at the onset of the therapy, start of the therapy, with the aim of achieving the target concentration rapidly. You want it to rapidly reach a level, that's why you give it at the start of the therapy. It is governed by the volume of distribution. The loading dose is equal to your target plasma concentration, your target desired concentration of the drug into volume of distribution divided by F, bioavailability. Maintenance dose means it is you wanted to have a steady state. Yes. So maintenance dose is governed by clearance or T half. So in most clinical situations, drugs are administered in a series of repetitive doses or as a continuous infusion to maintain a steady state concentration of drug associated with the therapeutic window. It is governed by clearance or T half. So maintenance dose rate is equal to target plasma concentration, steady state plasma concentration into clearance divided by the bioavailability. Please note, loading dose is the desired peak concentration of the drug you want for rapid action, while target steady state concentration of the drug you want is what you need for maintenance dose. Okay, coming to our exercise number 1. The plasma half-life of digoxin is 40 hours and that of digitoxin is 7 days when the drugs are administered in their daily maintenance doses. With which drug the process of digitalization will be completed earlier? Explain. So, I've already told you, when you want to achieve the process of a steady state concentration, the process of achieving the steady state concentration will be completed earlier with digoxin. Why? Because according to plateau principle, when a constant amount of drug is administered at a constant interval, it takes 4 to 5 half-lives to achieve a steady state. Yes? So digoxin has a T half of 40 hours. That means it will take approximately 4 to 5 times, which is 160 to 200 hours, that is 7 to 9 days to achieve steady state. Whereas digitoxin, which has a half-life of 7 days, takes 28 to 35 days to achieve steady state, which is 4 to 5 times of that. Am I clear? Okay. Our next problem. Explain why a loading dose of chloroquine is needed in a patient of malaria. So I've told you loading dose is when you want to rapidly get a concentration, rapidly get a therapeutic action out of a drug. Yes, there is also another effect of loading doses when some drugs have a higher volume of distribution. So if you give a bigger loading dose and then you give a maintenance dose, the maintenance dose allows the drug to be in a steady state plasma concentration. So, malaria being a parasitic infection where the plasmodia affect the erythrocytes. Yes, chloroquine is an anti-malarial drug effective against the erythrocyte stage of this parasite. When chloroquine is administered orally, please note it's administered orally, it gets rapidly distributed to tissues like skin, kidney, liver, spleen, and melanin containing tissues. This distribution, due to high tissue binding, is so fast that the drug that gets absorbed per oral is not able to achieve the desired therapeutic concentration we require in blood. Therefore, what we do is a high dose of chloroquine has to be given initially, which is called the loading dose, to compensate for the distribution due to tissue binding and achieve the effective blood concentration. But note, this is a note point, put as a note down. If chloroquine is given parenterally, it will enter the circulation at a faster rate at the rate at which it distributes into the tissues. So it will be available in the blood in a therapeutic concentration at a faster rate. It will bypass all the distribution and the metabolism. So it will be available in a bigger concentration. Okay. An 85-year-old 60 kg woman with a serum creatinine of 1.8 milligram per deciliter has atrial fibrillation. A decision has been made to use digoxin to control the rapid heart rate. The target concentration of digoxin for the treatment of atrial fibrillation is 2 nanogram per ml. Tablets of digoxin are available that contain 62.5 micrograms and 250 microgram. What maintenance dose would you recommend? So they have asked you to calculate the maintenance dose. Now, creatinine, how much have they given? 1.8 milligram per deciliter. I've already told you the formula for maintenance dose, which is the target plasma steady state concentration into clearance divided by the bioavailability. Now, what is the clearance for this patient? 140 minus the age into weight of the patient in kg into serum creatinine divided by 72. So 140 minus 85 into 60 by 72 into serum creatinine being 1.8 milligram per deciliter, which will come out to 82.5 milliliter per minute. Now in maintenance dose, it will be target CPA, we want 2 nanogram, yes, and you have to convert the nanogram into microgram and the per minute into 24 hours. How much is it for a day? So 2 into 82.5 is 165 nanogram per minute, which is into 60 will be how much is it for an hour, into 24 is how much is it for a day, divided by 1000 we'll convert it to microgram. So it is 237.60 microgram per day. That is the maintenance dose required by this patient. Exercise 4. Calculate the steady state plasma concentration in milligram per liter for a drug administered in a dose of 200 mg every 12th hourly. It has a bioavailability of 60% and clearance of 240 ml per hour. 240 ml per hour means 240 into 24 ml per day. Okay. Maintenance dose is equal to the target plasma steady state concentration into clearance divided by the bioavailability. So, target steady state concentration will be equal to maintenance dose into bioavailability divided by clearance. So, it's 400 mg because 200 mg is given 12th hourly, 400 mg will be given 24 hourly into 0.6 divided by 24 into 240 ml per day. So, that is equal to 240 divided by 240 into 24, which is 0.0416 milligram per ml. We have clearly asked you to give it in milligram per liter. So, multiply it into 1000, we will get 41.6 milligram per liter. Okay. Next question. What would be the plasma half-life of a drug that has volume of distribution 20 liters and clearance 2 ml per kg per minute in an individual with body weight of 70 kg? In the same case, calculate area under the curve when dose of the drug is 200 mg and bioavailability is 80%. Okay. So, area under the curve is equal to 0.693 into volume of distribution divided by clearance. It was already dealt with in the last class. Clearance is equal to 2 ml per kg per minute. Here the patient's body weight is 70. So, 70 into 2, 140 ml per minute, which means you have to convert the ml into liter. So, the area under the curve will be equal to 0.693 into 20 divided by 140 into 1000. So, that is equivalent to 99 minutes. Okay. Second part of the question. The bioavailability is described as the area under the curve orally and area under the IV route curve. So, usually we take area under the IV route curve is 1. So, bioavailability is 80%. So, AUC will be equal to the bioavailability here, which will be equal to 0.8. Any doubts? Moving on. A drug is administered in a standard dose of 500 mg that is cleared 60% and 40% by hepatic and renal route respectively. What would be the appropriate dose of the same for a person with creatinine clearance of 30% of normal? 500 mg is given, 60% is cleared hepatically, 40% is cleared renally, and for this person, the new patient, the renal clearance is only 30% of the normal. So, 60% of hepatic clearance means 60% of 500, which is 300 mg. 40% is cleared renally, 40% of 500 is 200 mg. Assuming that the hepatic clearance is normal, the new renal clearance is 30% of normal. So, new standard dose is amount cleared hepatically plus 0.3 or 30% of amount cleared renally, which is 300 mg plus 0.3 into 200 mg, which is equal to 360 mg. That is the new standard dose that needs to be delivered to this patient. Thank you.